Hello and welcome to another Toonkind at 12 FPS. My name is Winona and I'll be playing Little Scribbles Scrambles and Little Scratch Scrambles. And I'm with the amazing, the wonderful, the awesome.
Aw. Stop it.
No.
Hi folks. It's Comet again. Hi, and I'll be playing Marigold.
Yes. Marigold, our beloved.
Scratch and Scribbles, my beloved.
Aww. Well, today is just a sunny day in Toontown today. Say it's cold. It's still close after to so it's January in their time, but it's still pretty cold
Hmm.
with even though it's sunny. What's Marigold up to?
Mm-hmm. I think she's pretty much on her way to Scribbles' place. I'm pretty sure gestures to her number of parents. I think she need to get into the habit of just rotating between houses
Yeah,
at this point.
pretty much.
And
Yes.
today,
Sorry, you go.
and it's Scribbles Day.
Yes.
The Scribbles abode day.
Yes, she has so many parents, but we all
Mm-hmm.
love her very much. Yeah. So
Yeah.
you get to the apartment and you open it up
Yep.
and it seems to be empty.
Yeah. I think she just kind of cool out for a bit, but there's no response. Um, just stands there. Huh. What now? But um, hmm. I she pretty much just vibe on her own for a bit, like get some reading done, and look outside. It's sunny, and heck, I didn't century rest last night. um, hmm. Does a little thinky thunk, and oh heck yeah, I'm gonna kill 30 birds with one stone. I'm gonna go do a century race and get some sunlight.
Yes.
I am so smart. Yeah, open the door to the balcony and just like make herself comfortable
Mhm.
and promptly just shuts down for a bit with her mouth open.
Yeah, and as you sentry rest, probably maybe a hour or two passes. The door
Mm-hmm.
opens up and Scribbles is back with a stack of books and he's like, that was very productive morning today. I almost have this research paper finally made through made. Wait, why is it a little bit cold? As he takes a look around and notices the door to the balcony is open. Huh. And he closes the door and he is a scratches looks at him and then looks at the balcony door and Scratch like on instinct.
You went there.
Yeah, it flies over to the open door and just sees Marigold. And Scratch says to Scribbles, "Oh, it's just Marigold. She looks like she's having a rest day." As he then goes over to the balcony and sees her like sentry resting. Oh, she is. Uh, let's say best to leave her rest. Uh, and Scratch just looks at Scribbles. He's like, Can I rest with her?" And Scribbles just chuckles. "You don't have to ask me, Scratch. I think she'll say, though try not to scare her when she wakes up." as he then goes to the library. I'm gonna be in the library if you need me. He just goes into the library and just chill and Scribbles just chills in the desk and just continues doing his research as Scratch flies over to Marigold.
Yeah, she's just lying down with like her arms propped up and on the I guess like the fence.
Mhm.
Th-
Yeah.
and just like resting her head on her hands. Um eyes closed and mouth open and everything. This is like the equivalent of just like trying to drink a juice box and while sleeping.
Yeah, and Scratch flies over to her head and just like
Mhm.
he like lands right beside her and just gives her a little nudge with his little head body and just to see like is she truly asleep in quotations.
I I don't know if no, I don't think she'd respond. Um it sits there. I was thinking, should I roll something? But then I don't want to risk rolling something high.
Yeah, say yeah. Yeah, and like the door, yeah, and the door is still open to the balcony, but it's been closed a little bit, like
Mm.
so it doesn't let all the heat out of the apartment out because Scribbles like he's done a good job of trying to keep the apartment at a more warmer temperature for his two ladies
Mm.
because they like the
Uh-huh.
warm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Scratch just eventually goes over to Marigold's mouth and he just looks inside curiously.
If he says something, it's probably going to echo like a cave.
Say he unfortunately he can't speak right now in this form, but he's just like
Dang.
he
Oh, that's
can
right.
glow. Like he can glow like a little bit.
It's just a. It's just an empty thing. Like you could just see the inside of her head. It's just. Yeah, that sure is. There's like two light bulbs in there and a box at the back of her throat, but like that's it.
Yeah. Scratch is like ooh as he like peers inside his sister as he sees all this. And he just like
Goodness gracious.
he doesn't know how to say he never really asked how things work.
Mm-hmm.
So he's just like, ooh, this is cool. As he just like slowly like inches inside and takes a look at the what he assumes to be a voice box and then the lights behind
Mm-hmm.
her eyes.
Yeah, exactly. Um, it's yeah, that's it. It's just empty in here. It's just like a big old dome. Um,
I say
I had another idea, but I forgot.
it's okay. Scratch like
Frick.
also scratch for like him in particular, he can like cast dim light. Just his body just naturally glows slightly, and he just
Mm,
sheds like 10 feet of dim light. If that helps with him
mm,
seeing anything,
yeah. Actually, I wonder if I should.
unless you want me to roll for some.
Hmm. Um, just a small thing. Maybe. Let me see through the stats and see which one's the best one. Just to connect a little dots. Just maybe investigation.
Investigation. All right.
it's not gonna be high. It's not a big
Don't
biggie.
again. Don't say that. Let's see.
Okay.
We'll see. Okay, it's average.
Okay, yeah.
It's a little over average. Just didn't want to jinx ourselves.
Hmm. The light that's um pouring inside is just like kind of just like bouncing off the reflecting
Mm-hmm.
until and it's reflecting down until it's kind of goes down.
Hmm.
And if you peers down her throat, it's yeah, there are some orange flowers down there.
Ooh. Yeah, and Scratch knows those orange flowers because he isn't told
Hmm.
what they are. He's like, oh, as he like slowly floats down her throat to the flowers.
Oh wait. Yeah.
He's just
Yeah, it's
he's
just
sorry, you
a
go.
big old pile of them. Like a size of like a bush.
So these are Marigold's flowers. He says as he like reaches out to touch one.
They're they're just regular flowers. Do you want to make a perception?
Oh yeah, I can make perception. I thought you were gonna say something else. All right. Perception. Oh, that's a nat 20.
That's net 20. All
That's
right.
he perceives. The boy perceives.
Boy perceives, and he perceives that these flowers looks kind of painty.
Huh? As
Like
he
you know
yeah.
how background props looks painty,
Uh huh.
and they have that kind of texture, that kind of style, and
Huh.
they're also like facing you,
Mhm.
like how sunflowers face the sun. They're all the blooms are just kind of facing you. They don't look doing anything like they're doing anything, but vaguely aware.
Huh. That's weird. Scratch. Like that's basically what Scratch is saying. If anyone could hear him right now, he's
Mhm.
he's more like
And it echoes. It reverberates.
yeah.
Oh wait, no, shoot, no, it doesn't do that. Shoot,
It
never
doesn't.
mind.
No, it doesn't do that. But for the he's basically speaking in his own mind because he can't
Mhm.
reverberate voice himself. He's like, huh, that's
Forgot.
no, you're fine. Say Scratch like, huh, these are like painted. Almost say with a 20, would he maybe guess that it's similar to a tune?
Yeah? I mean, that's a nat 20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, huh, these are like Toonkind flowers in her. That that's that's weird. As he like starts like petting them a little bit more, like to investigate them.
Aw. I mean, yeah, they feel soft and um that's it. They're there.
Huh.
Um but with that 20, I can also say that you see like little knickknacks in there as well.
Aww.
Like she's demonstrated before that like there
Mhm.
she keeps things in her limbs sometimes. There's like small toys like plastic rings and rubber duckies. Um and maybe one of the tinier sized plushies. They were all kind of covered in like moss or like maybe a one has a sapling on its head. That's
Mhm.
but yeah, There's a couple of those and some keychains probably.
Oh, so cute. Yeah, and Scratch is looking through all this and basically like exploring this one area of flowers very thoroughly to see everything. And as he probably like travels deeper within her.
Hmm. I think that is a nat 20. That is a nat 20. Hmm. Hmm. Um. I mean, yeah. There's some. It's all of it. It's just mostly flowers, but you can. Other than knickknacks, they're just small. Um. Uh. Bits and bobs of like machinery that's just kind of buried in them. That's just stuck to the side. They're small.
Yeah, and he probably sees the machinery and he's just like, huh, that's interesting. As he like follows the machinery to see where that leads.
Hmm. Huh. Which one should I do? Yeah, there's some wires. Let's connect. It started with the voice box, and then it kind of traveled down to I don't know any other machine terms.
It's okay. You don't have to.
This
You
is
don't
not.
have to have no machine terms. You could just say it's machine like and stuff. It's yeah.
Yeah, but hmm. I haven't. Hmm. I'm gonna. Maybe I could roll a whiz to see if she wakes up.
Yeah, probably. He has been touching her flowers, and as we both know, he's made of magic. So
Yeah. Just a regular wisdom. 5. None.
no.
She's knocked out. Dang it. Oh well. Um. As you travel further down, it's um probably like around her stomach.
Mhm.
Um. There's something glowing inside, like a big mass of leaves and flowers.
Uh huh.
Um. Do you want to check that out, Scratch?
Oh yeah, Scratch is gonna check that out. He's a curious little bugger.
Yeah, and that's where like most of the wires are leading.
Mhm. Yeah, because he's probably following the wires to see where they all lead.
Hmm.
So
And I haven't finished drawing this, so this is a little bit
it's
eh,
okay.
but hopefully it's gonna be alright.
No, no, your art is amazing. It doesn't matter if it's
Mm,
unfinished. It's always awesome. Even the little sketches, they're just so I love them so much.
um, should I make you roll another investigation?
Oh yeah, I can roll another investigation. I thought you were pulling up a picture, so.
Frick. Yes, that was also what I was doing. Sorry,
It's okay. It's okay.
I'm a mess right now.
It's our.
Goodness gracious, I'm so sorry.
No, no, you're fine. I hold you so gently. Dang.
Huh. there's something absolutely glowing in there. Um, but it's hard to make out because there's like so many things in the way. Like it's just actually you're at the bottom and there's and you started seeing roots.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like that's um seen in, it's it's the bottom of the flowers. It's all roots here, and it's kind of hard to make out what's in there.
Hmm. And Scratch looks at this like, huh. Let's follow these as he floats upwards towards the top to investigate more. And I can roll another investigation. Okay, it's better.
Yeah. Where are you going again?
He's following the roots upwards to hopefully follow the glow and see what is this thing.
Ah, yeah, you probably find like a. Oh, hello.
Hey, arrows.
It's what was it? What was my train of thought? You probably find like a patch of roots that's like less dense,
Mm-hmm.
so you can get a good peek at some kind of orb.
Ooh.
It's glowing like a green color, a green and yellow color.
Mm-hmm.
That's just kind of pulsing.
Oh, orb. He like a moth to a flame is just like I
Under
need.
the orb.
He's pondering the orb and he wants to touch the orb. So he goes closer to the orb to try to touch it.
I think I can drop a picture now, anyways. You're close enough. It's very sketchy, but it's a glass orb that's got bits and pieces of metal and wires, some light bulbs and doohickeys covering it, and also covered in roots. It's
Mm-hmm.
like this is where the start of the roots are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Scratch just like looking at this orb and pondering it and just floating around it for a second before reaching over his hand to touch it.
Okay.
He touches the orb if he can.
Which is the orb. I'm gonna make a whiz with advantage because that's 4. Please, please, I beg of you. 2.
I mean, I'd say,
My
I mean, I'd say, Matt Scratch is just like, what does he feel when he touches this orb?
um mostly warmth.
I see.
Um and heck. Of all the things I wrote down, I forgot about how it feels.
It's okay.
um it feels like warm sunlight, and it when when you touch it, it's the pulsing light kind of sound. It becomes kind of apparent. It's kind of you hear it as well. You hear like a heartbeat.
Ooh, that's really cool. I love it. And
Um,
Yeah, and I feel like say he when he feels this, he's just like, oh, he's just like, this is her. I feel like it's just like his eyes widen as he like he doesn't know exactly what to do, but
Hmm.
I do have a feeling of like I feel like she could wake up pretty soon as he touches it.
Yeah. You know what?
Yeah, I feel like the rolls be
Yeah.
damned. This is this
Rolls be damned. This is an FPS.
this is an FES.
If someone touched your soul, I think that wake you up from whatever
Yeah, that's the
nap you were
thing.
in, no
Yeah,
matter how
exactly.
deep it is.
Yeah, especially when the souls are touching each other as she as Scratch feels touches and feels this Marigold as she warms up. She feels the warmth and comfort too. Like it's warm, but it's more of the feeling of comfort and safety. The promise that everything will be all right, even in situations that seem hopeless. A warmth and feeling of connections, of love and family, along with magic, bringing a sense of creativity and endless possibilities. Though she would automatically shiver at this because it's just like, yeah, this
Mhm.
is magic to magic connections.
Yeah. And yeah, she probably jolts awake from that, like, what? She's just looking around. What? What? Um, and you probably hear that too. Like Scratch is
Yeah,
just he's not saying anything, but like
yeah,
it's just like her thought process, just confusion and some alarm.
that
Uh
actually triggers something. I had this idea. It's like
oh
the moment he feels that within her, he feels that, and her visions go dark
oh dear.
as an empty void can be felt around her. But it doesn't feel like it's her exactly. There is there is no malicious intent to this darkness. It's just void of light. And you get to see you say even though it should be completely dark in this, you see one little glow, one of a vision of Scratch just floating in this endless void. Though you also get the feeling of his feelings that Scratch himself does not know like when it is or where this is. It's just like he just this is it. No sense of time. This is just B. He has say you get the Marigold gets the feeling like Scratch has no idea how he woken up here. As you see Scratch his eyes are open, he's looking around, but instinctively, you know, and he knows that you're safe. He knows that this magic that's all around you is comforting, caring, but also determined and powerful. And he also knows that this isn't entirely their own magic. And their magic themselves is just the small bundle of their toonish form that's around themselves. It though it's powerful in its own right, it's still very much magic around them. Then the vision turns from black to a very bright white. And this sort of white is like a very bright light. And the world around you is fuzzy, but then slowly comes into focus with a few blinks and staring and you stare up and you see a small UPA boy that you would quickly recognize as Scribbles, but Scribbles that is a very young child. And the moment you see him, the vision snaps out of place as Scratch stops touching your soul for a second and everything's back to normal.
Hmm. Can I Oh. Cool. Can I say this is a two-way thing?
Yes, it's a two-way thing.
Before, it's like two things like being projected at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
uh, and before he puts his hand away, there is some familiarity in that darkness. Um, Scratch. Here's another picture. Scratch would get a picture of this little tune. It looks, and I'm gonna say this, that's sketchy on purpose.
Fair enough.
It's like in the dark void, there's just like this little tune made of green sketch with like messy hair.
Oh.
Um, it's just curled up in a ball. It's dark and it's cold and it's really, really loud. There's so many sounds. There's shouting, there's music, there's laughing, and there's every everything. And she can't shut it out. She can't move. She's just there.
I hold so softly.
And there's another memory of waking up. It's a mess. There's Scratch would know this looks like a park that's just been wrecked.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't know that. She just all she can focus on is where am I? Why am I heavy? What's happening? She's suspended in the air. She can't feel the ground and she can't move. And her hands aren't her own. It's this is the same place. This is the same place. This feels like it's everything's so different. What happened? What happened? And you're crying, but you can't cry. And you feel a hand. Well, you don't feel it. You just feel like your hand isn't moving. And you look down. There's another reach behind to hold hers. And you hear someone say, "It's going to be okay. You're going to be okay."
Oh.
And that's probably when it cuts off.
Yeah. Scratch is just like, whoa. And do you want to make a perception check for Marigold?
Sure. 12.
yeah, you hear a bit of a crash in the library.
I think Scribbles himself should make a perception. I think she'd also make a bit of a crash.
Yeah. Let's see how good these boys are with perception. Okay. Had to remind myself what my perception was. Yeah.
Oh, nat 20.
Dang. Yeah.
Yeah, you know exactly where. Um, yeah, you
Yeah.
definitely hear like a clattering of metal and maybe a few pots. Um,
Mhm.
cause she's going to topple over after that. Um,
Mhm.
just holding her stomach.
Yeah, and yeah, Scribbles like fell out of his chair because he saw like not only did Scratch see that, but so did Scribbles. Scribbles saw all of
Ah,
that because hey, soul
oh,
bonded.
yep, yep, yep,
as they
yep.
as Scribbles like gets to his feet and dashes to the balcony. He's like, Marigold, are you okay? What happened? What was that?
I I think she's just curled up on the balcony, just
Marigold,
mm,
Marigold, Marigold. As he like goes over to her and and like sits down next to her and sits down next to her. It's okay. I, Scratch, I don't know what you did, but oh, was that I? He like he looks sort of like he has a little bit of a headache as he at least for the motion of like putting his hand to his head.
hmm. I think she's still just hmm. Still like reeling from that. Like, I mean, that would have been a lot. Um, and her stomach feels weird and um,
Mhm.
but she just slowly just reaches out one hand just like to hold his
Yeah, and
and just squeezes it.
Scribbles does squeeze her hand. It's okay. You're okay.
Hmm. Hold on, I'm just trying to decide something.
Oh, you're fine.
Um. All right. Two. Okay. Cool. Um. Is Scratch like conscious or like
Scratch is conscious. He's sort of
cool?
reeling too because that was his own memories he's just pulled, and he hasn't had that he hasn't thought about that memory in a very long time.
Cool. Um. I feel like Marigold's while she's curled up, her Scratch saw you see like sketching.
Uh huh.
It's like flickering like a light bulb, but it's like on her silhouette. It's just yeah. There's like a green sketching just appearing and disappearing, and Scratch would see it the same sketching just like around the flowers
Uh huh.
and
Marigold, what's? happening to you? Say he like reaches up his hand to her face, just like it's just like looking her over as he sees the sketches.
Do
As
you want to make it investigation, perception? I don't know which one.
investigate his passive. Here's the thing about Scribbles. He has the observant feat, so he has a passive
Oh,
investigation of 22.
oh, okay. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah,
All right then.
I got the observant feat on him, and it's just been playing so much Scratch.
Yep. Yep. Hmm. Whatever sketching is there, it doesn't seem to like match like her form.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's the ears are shorter, the hair is messier, there's some freckles. It um
Marigold.
I don't I don't know if she just responds at all.
Yeah. Though I know how Scratch would respond because as he sees the sketching from the
Hmm.
flowers and around her after he like touches his soul, he say Scribbles doesn't get this right away because he's trying to see what Marigold's all about. But Scratch is
Mm-hmm.
like, wait, there was a person in there. Different person. I want to say I need to know more as he touches the soul again and this time infuses it a bit more of his magic to see if he can get another vision or try to see this person again.
You do, huh?
Scratch
All
does.
right. Yeah, I feel okay. It's this time it's just a blinding flash of light, and it's um like your vision is surrounded by it, and
Mhm.
you hear birdsong, and you open your eyes, and you're in a forest. It looks like you're in a forest. Um, there's lush trees and like a river and so many. There's s- wildflowers and ivy and what you yeah, there's sunlight just dappled through the trees, and something pokes you from behind.
And as Lee Scratch himself would turn around and look to see who it was.
But I just show this picture much later. But you know what?
Scratch Man.
You see her.
That's adorable. I love her so much.
Um, you just saw the sketching before, but yeah, you see a green Frankenolly with orange petals for her hair and an orange petal skirt. It's just looking at you with the biggest eyes.
Scratch looks at her back with big eyes, and say this person also sees Scratch, but in a very different way, because he looks Scratch now. Elise looks in his ambulata form.
Hmm. How big was it? the Ambulata form
The
again?
Ambulata form is only a foot tall.
I want to say it's the same height. Maybe shorter.
And Scratch doesn't recognize this right away, but then he like sort of like goes out to like like put his hand out to her, but then he looks at his own hands like, oh, I'm in my other form. What is this? Who are you?
And she just tilts her head to the side. Um, and she points behind you. Do you turn?
Scratch turns.
And you just see like a little patch of marigolds.
Scratch looks at this,
Mm-hmm.
looks back at her, looks back at this. 1 plus 1 maybe equaling 2, and he's like, Marigold?
She just smiles. And she kind of just looks in circles around you, just like looking at you like head to toe.
Yeah, and Scratch is like turning to like to see her too and looking around head to toe. I
Um,
you hello. Your Toon.
she kind of just looks down at her hands and just smiles and nods.
I you weren't Toon before? I mean, and Scratch like cocks his head to the side.
She just tilts her head to the other side and then shakes her head.
Uh, what happened?
Her face falls. Um, hmm. Hmm. Saving this thing for a bit later, but honestly, this is kind of perfect as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
Huh,
Sometimes
huh,
it just happens
okay.
this way.
Well, yeah. um, hmm. It's like her face kind of just like looks down, just thinking for a bit, and then her eyebrows furrow, like trying to remember that starts um looking upset, and then you blink and the forest is on fire.
Yeah, Scratch sees this and immediately goes protective person as he sort of just like wraps around this little person of Marigold.
And she's holding you tightly. She's she's hugging back and just burying her face into you and
Yeah,
mm.
yeah. And I need to make
And
her.
then it's
You go.
mm-hmm.
No, you go.
Oh, and it's like when a paper is burnt. It's
Mhm.
just it all disappears into a void.
Mhm. Uh,
Um, she's still holding you.
I need to make a roll. Let's see if what something happens.
Mm-hmm. Hey,
Okay.
what's that?
Hmm. It doesn't happen, but
Okay.
or at least it doesn't happen. But I came prepared for this, but no, but it didn't happen, so we're not gonna talk about it any longer. But Scratch just keeps holding Marigold and then looks around to see like everything is gone. It's gone. It burned. And what role
And
did?
she's
Sorry, you
huh?
go. No, you go.
I think she's just crying.
All right.
It's just big globs of green tears.
Hey. As Scratch like wipes away her tears. And what role do you think I would need to get to make 1 + 1 = 2?
Um,
Because I, as the player, knows what happened, but
I'm debating between Arcana or straight intelligence.
hmm. Uh, maybe intelligence. I'd probably maybe say intelligence.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Scratch looks at her. He's like, "Yeah, did you?" Is he like? He keeps wiping away her tears. Did you die?
Probably her only response is just holding tighter.
All right. Scratch is gonna hug her again, and I need to make another roll. Oh.
What is that? Please, I'm so scared.
I I I was prepared for this, but I didn't have a picture right away that I could show you, unfortunately, because of time conditions. But
That's fine, and I love you. Don't worry.
as Scratch wraps around her, and it's sort of almost literal, as his scribbly tail becomes more solid and much larger. He begins to grow, and his whole body starts to shift and change as his body becomes more serpentine and pure black, but yet the blackness has like iridescent shines of rainbows as he as inky wings start to wrap around her too, as it's almost like in a coil of a snake. And hey, do you know what a coatl is, Comet?
Uh, no.
Boy, howdy. Let me pull up.
Wait. Yeah, pull out a picture. Wait, hold on. I might have an idea. But
I'm pulling up one really quickly of a quaddle.
Yo, okay.
He basically
Oh,
he turns into a black quaddle with iridescent black scales that shine rainbow. He has more than one set of wings. He has three inky wings that wrap around you, and sort of similar to a Chinese dragon. It sort of has black, not black, but brown hair with like almost like streaks of rainbow going down his whole spine and to covering his tail. His tail almost looks like a brush. But you are is a little marigold is basically in the middle of this quaddle hug of trying to protect a protection.
oh, okay. Hmm. Just see tiny Marigold just looks up with the biggest, like, eyes the size of saucepans and hmm. Just reaching for your snoot, probably.
Yeah. And Scratch opens his eyes because they're like closed before, just like and like nudging you, like trying to like comfort you. And he opens his eyes, and you see his eyes are a deep blue, like instead. And Marigold will know this as his color for sadness, as he just nuzzles you.
Um, and she's just rubbing her forehead back. Kind of like, that scene in Ponyo.
Yeah,
Just that strong.
yeah, very much staying with Scratch. He's doing that back
Hmm.
as as in this dark, like sad moment, the scene, you see, you feel the expressions of anger, bitterness, sadness, yet determination and almost exhaustion. It's just like, but everything has a sense of coldness that goes up your spine. But it feels like it's more centering on Scratch, as
Hmm.
this is a this chill does not go away. Very it's like a very it's like a blizzard. A feeling of a blizzard that is cutting through your like skin is just like it's that cold. And then you hear a crack, a snap as
Hmm.
you see the world like the world shattered around you. This black Ignis shatters and it
Oh, okay.
it falls away. And you see you're looking through the eyes of Scratch, similar to what you did to him before. And you hear the sound of pen on paper and you see what looks to be a small dorm room. The room is cramped, filled with books, paper, journals that are strewn across the room, even on the other dorm bedroom, which seems to be long abandoned as it was covered. It's just covered. It's basically used as another storage area for Scribbles books. And the angle where Scratch is being shown, his book looks to be on a little, little book stand, like little
Hmm.
uppy sort of book stand thing. And Scribbles, meanwhile, is just looks to be studying. And you feel and you just feel in your soul the feeling of concern as his father has a determined yet very sour and frustrated look on his face. Like this Scribbles looks like is more in line with the one that you is basically looks like the one that you know of now. Scribbles also has like wrinkles under his eyes and his hair, even though it's hard to tell because his hair is all scribbles, but you can sort of just feel like Scratch knows it's very, very kept up, unkempt. And there's a knock on the dorm, and Scribbles' first response was silence, and then the jostling of the door handle he makes him look. Peck off! Scribbles responds to the person wanting to intrude, but remained looking at what he was studying. Scribbles, it's me. A female voice comes from the door. Scribbles stops as he then turns towards the door and uses a mage hand to unlock and open it. A female UPA toon comes into the room. One wearing an orange dress which matched her hair. Eyes similar to Scribbles, but they were a blue instead of a black. Callie? How did you actually? Don't tell me. Barry, of course it was. Scowled Scribbles. No, I may not be as smart as you, but I can sneak into a dorm, and Barry has nothing to do with this. I came here to see you, she replied calmly. Then why are you here? Scribbles asked, as he then goes back to write. Why? For you! I'm here for you! You don't think I haven't heard about what you're doing to yourself? It's finals. No, it's not. Not ever since you've been kicked out of the house, you've been spiraling down a dangerous path that I just can't ignore anymore. I thought you could pull yourself out of this, like you always do. But looks like I'm wrong. I'm fine. Calligraphy. Scribbles scowls at his sister. You are not fine, and I am here to make sure you see it. I want to help you. Scribbles then slams his hands down on the desk as he stands up. Help me? When have you ever helped me? He then goes over to get into Calligraphy's face. You let our parents kick me out. You left me to pursue your own selfish goals, and out of everything you haven't even been able to help me figure out what I want to do with my life. Not everything has to be about you, Scribbles, shouts Calligraphy back as she pushes him hard, making him fall onto the floor. Scribbles' eyes widen at this as he looks up at his sister. Callie, maybe this truth bomb will help you out. You are a selfish, arrogant brother who I have been living in the shadow of for my entire life. You've been given ideas, chances, but you just kept throwing them to the side, just like me. You have always said that I don't get it, that I can never understand what you've been going through. At least you've had our parents' attention. The expectation of nothing from me except for maybe having grandchildren. You haven't even had the chance to even grow to discover new things about yourself, but you've had every chance to do that. But instead of that, you've just been stuck your nose inside a book and ignoring everything around you. And everyone. She then looks away from her brother. You used to be so kind and caring. I used to look up to you. But now look at yourself. You've changed so much that I can't even believe that you're my brother. You are so absorbed and think so highly of yourself that you again pushed everyone away. No one likes you, Scribbles. The only people who hang around you are the ones who either have to or wizards that are just like you. And tears start streaming down Callie's face. I can't be your brother. I can't be your sister anymore. I can't call you my brother anymore. I just can't. And she then turns to walk out of the room. I need to take care of myself, even if it means pushing you away. Kelly, wait! Said Scribbles as he tries to get up but isn't able to. He just falls back down. No, leave me alone. I never want to see you again. And then she slams the door on Scribble's face, and the world fades to black as the scene ends. And instead of you holding, and instead of you there with Scratch, you see Scribbles in a little ball.
Huh.
And he says nothing. Comet, are you okay? Did I overwhelm you?
Fine.
Are you sure?
I'm fine. Wait a moment. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh man. All right then. Um. Huh. I'm. I think. Like in the void.
Yeah, they're back in the void, but
Back in the void, huh?
yeah.
It's just doesn't do anything for a while. Um. She's just trying to process what she just saw. It's just kind of dumbfounded. Um. It kind of feels like forever, but eventually she's tur- turns to Scribbles and goes by his side.
He's quiet,
Hmm.
and but he eventually speaks. I'm sorry you had to see that.
Hmm. It's just she just stands there for a bit, just looking into your eyes.
You just see a
Mm.
man that has basically just life has been beaten and out has been beaten out of him.
She just pretty much knocks the wind out of him as she just wraps her arms around your tongue.
he freezes for a second, but you can definitely feel some tears fall upon your head as he eventually wraps around her. I've been haunted by that. What I've done. It's only a fraction of what I've done. That was just the nail in the coffin, as they would say.
Mm, I think um I think she just holds you tighter. Um and kind of with all her force just slams every every memory she has with Scribbles. Just from the beginning, from from the from the road to being safe from the road and being.
Yeah,
Hold
Scribbles.
on, I just need a minute.
No, no, you take a minute.
uh,
Yeah,
um to being guided everywhere and like being shown how everything works, and it's like her first hot chocolate, and just the feeling of warmth and um and just safety, just and just so Scribbles feel just so much love that just keeps on growing as you you see you see from her eyes just everything you taught her and every meal you spent together, um and she probably even show like when how Selli looked when she was talking about you when they were ice skating.
mhm.
and
Yeah, he's crying. He say just
and it's just she doesn't say it, but it's just kind of just trying to convey the message of look how far you've come.
and he gets that and he just nods. I thank you. It's hard. That memory, those memories. The moment you didn't see it, but the moment she left was the moment I realized I was a very bad person. I literally, after that second, stood up, packed all my stuff, and in the middle of winter, just left the university. I left UPA. I didn't take any teleporting pads. I literally walked all the way here to Toontown. I hope to become a better person. And I know, and he then, like, pets her hair. And I have. It's just, I'm still haunted about those, what I've done in the past. And it's been hard for me.
Gosh.
And he probably
Mm.
then he then feel just he then looks at her and presses his forehead to her. It's just but how enough about me. You have done say as you showed me. You've already done so much. What happened to you after that fire?
Um. Gosh. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
um. I think she just reaches out to hold your face. Um. Trying to think of words. I'm so sorry.
No, no, you're fine. It's okay.
Hmm. She just. You. Hmm. Hmm.
It's okay.
Sorry. It's
No,
just
oh, you're fine.
I gotta vibe when I say supposed to what I want to say, but um,
It's all right. And whatever. Say if this,
yeah.
yeah. Say and Scribbles just being also very patient too.
Hmm. Hmm. Just growing takes time, and you grew so much. And proof is. So many people love you, Scribbles.
A lot of people love you too. And I want to be better for you. For the people that have have I have earned their trust.
And we'll be there.
Yeah. I'm that means so much for you to say that after what you've just seen.
Mm. And she kind of just. She kind of just looks really. Looks right at your eyes. Just. You took me in when you barely even knew me.
Yeah, I did. And I don't regret it. As he as he just pets her hair. And you've been wonderful. You've been a great daughter.
Oh, okay. I think her eyes just go big, and it's just wells up with tears and just hugs you very tightly.
Yeah, and he
And
wells up with tears too and hugs her back. I'm sorry I didn't get to say it sooner.
just quietly, just, I love you, Dad.
I love you too, Marigold.
And kind of just probably sits there for a bit.
Mhm.
I don't know if you want to bring attention back to Scribble's previous question.
Yeah, and yeah, eventually Scribbles will unhug her and and he then like wipes the tears from her eyes and he's just like, "So, you didn't answer me. What happened after the fire?"
And it uh kind of probably stiffens and um has a look that's just like a million thoughts happening in her head. Just her eyes furrow and uh, uh, I, and she kind of just holds her head. I don't know. I, do you wanna make a perception check?
Yes, I can, and I will. Pretty good.
16. Yeah, sure, that's pretty good. Um, um, it's been really quiet for a long, for a bit as she's
Mhm.
just trying to focus.
Mhm.
She just eyes screwed and just like has her hands on her forehead, just and it's still the void, but it's like what Scratch experienced earlier. It's just suddenly, no, not like gradually, it
Mhm.
noise starts surrounding you. Just it like bustling and um lots and lots of voices, hundreds of them. It's just it. There's screaming, there's laughing, there's just chatting and just you could hear kids squealing and parents calling and well actually no you want but like adults calling which you
Mhm.
can probably connect the dots on.
Yeah.
Um um and you hear music just like a melody
Mhm.
and honestly it's a bit overwhelming.
Yeah. You still gonna like bring her close to like hug her more. It's just like try to like say it's all right to live through this.
This you could probably guess this is kind of it.
Mhm.
um Whatever happened she just can't. Hmm. But um as you're in this loud darkness for a bit, um I mean you could how what should I make you roll to connect the dots?
Uh, probably intelligence maybe.
Yeah, yeah, it's intelligence.
Oh, forgot the
Oh,
exclamation mark. That was a one. Not a one, but
hmm.
there we go. 14.
Yeah, that's oh, I mean you hmm. This doesn't sound like a miserable place. It sounds it hmm. It's sounds like it sounds joyful. And you remember, yeah, you remember Marigold said she used to live in a park, and
Mhm.
her design, um, and yeah, this is probably a this is probably the memory her her memory of the park when it was bustling.
This this is the park. But how but if you died, how did you get from there being dead then to living here?
Um, ooh, you hmm. I'm gonna do a little something a little bit. Um, when you look back down at Marigold, um,
Mhm.
it she's not there anymore. But in her place, it's just like a glass and mechanical orb
Marigold?
in 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 your hands, and you can still feel her presence. It's like the whatever magic
Mhm.
that's still there. It's just you can.
Uh,
It's in this orb.
your this is your soul. Someone put you into this thing.
Do you want me to make another perception?
Yes. I'll make another perception. Uh, gosh,
Damn.
gosh dang it.
That's quite. You know what? Advantage. This is. I'm.
Yeah, no,
More.
dice parser, no bullying. Okay, that's better.
Yeah. It takes a bit
Mhm.
because you're just where did child go? Orb. Um, and you see the light inside just kind of swirling, just like still responding to you,
Mhm.
and it takes a while, but you kind of realize it's quiet again, except there's no more people, but it's no, there's still sound, there's something there, and you hear somewhere is just there's like a rhythmic like tink noise.
Mhm.
Um, just over and over, and and it's it's hard to make out this it's distant and echoey and but you hear there's someone there, one person there, and that's singing. There's someone there that's humming something. Um, and if try to focus on it, you hear.
Mm.
And it fades. It it fades away,
Mer-
and or hmm, I'm gonna say like you're still holding the orb.
mm-hmm.
Um, and you can't if you're holding the orb, you can feel her just scared.
Shh. Marigold, it's okay.
She's
It,
she's something, and it's that song, it's that melody. She's terrified of, and she doesn't know why.
and Scribbles like pets the orb and stuff and holds it closer to his chest. And a bright light can be seen glowing from his chest as she feels the similar like she did before when Scratch originally touched her, that feeling of love, that feeling of comfort, that feeling of safety. It's okay, Marigold. I have you. Whoever did this to you, they're not here. I won't let them hurt you, and neither will Scratch. As Scratch then seems to be appear from the glowing light to the other side of the orb, the marigold orb, to hug her.
Mm-hmm.
And this is Scratch's little ball form, like his regular little ball form.
And I think just like before, like this sketching returns is just like the tiny form before, just
Mm-hmm.
sketchy and just flickering. It's just hugging back.
Marigold, does does Nebula, does Talk know any of this?
Uh, um, she's still quiet for a bit. Um, but eventually she says, "Nebula knows I died. Talk." Mm, Grove. Grove told them, and she kind of just just buries her face into his chest.
And Scribbles hugs her tightly and pets her hair. I know this isn't the most comfortable subject to be talking about, but I love you, and I want to protect you. And to protect you, I need to know what I'm up against, or what's happening to you. I don't want to lose you.
Hmm. I, I don't. I don't know. I, I don't know. I don't know a lot, and
Whatever you can tell me, that's enough. You don't say if you don't know everything, that's okay. But whatever you do know, I would like to know so I can help better protect you.
Hmm. Uh, I I I know. Um. I know I wasn't built right. Good. The growth said something. Something's wrong with it. And Scratch, do you want to?
Scribbles, yeah.
No, Scratch.
Okay.
Scratch wants to. I don't. What do you roll to remember something? Um,
History?
History. Yeah, sure. I mean, it was just like a couple minutes ago, but like I actually don't know how long this been. But when he was inside Marigold.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, he remembers seeing all the vines and around her orb and
Hmm.
stuff and seeing all the different parts.
Um, you probably. I don't know if. Hmm. Do you want to make an intelligence?
Sure, I'll make it as a intelligence for Scratch. Unless, would Arcana be better for this, or?
No, intelligence. Is good.
Alright.
Um. Damn.
Damn, Scratch.
Scratch doesn't know machinery. I guess.
Yeah, if this is about machinery, intelligence would probably be the best.
Yeah. But I do want to give you something though.
You can, I mean,
It's just
you can make,
okay.
Scratch is a, uh, if you want me to roll, you want me to roll with advantage?
Sure. You know what? Yeah, this is an FES
Wow.
6. I want to say, but well, hmm, I'm
Scratch.
gonna give. one thing anyway.
All right.
It was weirdly empty. You remember this? It's weirdly empty in her. Even though there's like knickknacks and flowers in there, that was most of the things inside.
Hmm. I see. Scratch sees, or is he like this? Sees this. He's like, it was empty inside you, and script say when say Scribbles thinks about this, just like maybe not every say maybe Scribbles, now that Scratch has said this, he can try to connect more dots because he's intelligent.
Mm-hmm.
That's better.
Hmm. What do I give you for that? Hmm. I'm all right. Um. Well,
So you don't have to give me
sorry.
anything.
I just try to just sort out my words for a second.
No, no, you're
It's just
fine.
trying to see if this is um just. I mean, whoever built this place had the resources to build an entire park
Mhm.
to make a whole core.
Mhm.
Um, and Marigold, it does have a pretty complicated design. You can't really you can't really understand what, like they had the
Capabilities.
capabilities, but it's just if there's that many things like lacking in it's and it's there's like magic, like strong magic that's like holding her core. It's oh boy, that's some magic.
Yeah, and like magic is his thing. Machinery isn't much his thing, but magic
Mhm,
is for sure. Like he studied it his whole life, and he's like,
mhm.
yeah, that's very strong magic.
um it's and I could wait, my words, please.
No, no, you're
don't
fine. It's
don't
okay.
abandon me now.
No, no, it's okay. Words are hard.
Yeah, it's so it's just really confusing. Like it's just she's just solely relying on magic to function. It's um and again, it,
Mhm.
it doesn't even you're with all the what Scratcher said, it's not even it's like it's not like it's like they didn't even cared if she worked. It's just honestly um it kind of just seems like she was just built for decoration.
Yeah, and
Oh my god, she was built for decoration.
yeah, and like Scribbles gets a bit mad at that as he tries as he parses his out. It's like whoever did this to you was soulless in themselves, and he's just like his hair is getting spiky. To build something without with such power, yet nothing, just to make her just to barely do anything to just look pretty. Maybe I don't know exactly why they made you, but they obviously didn't put enough care into making your body, or it's not even your body, what they forced you to be in there to just they just didn't care.
Mm, yep.
Yeah, he looks very angry with his hair all spiked. Marigold.
And
Sorry, you go.
still head buried under chest. She just doesn't want to look up. It's hmm.
How are you getting this much magic?
Um. It my patron. Uh.
The Grove Mother, right? Because I'm assuming that she has talked about her patron maybe
Hmm.
every once in a while.
Probably. Yeah. I feel like yeah.
Mhm.
Um. She kind of. Uh, at the start. Hmm. But I. She. Hmm. Something happened to them where they weren't. They couldn't. Um. They didn't have enough to support me. So so I got a so I got another patron that TUC knew. Wait, no, frick. She doesn't know.
It's okay. I knew what you
That
meant.
taught me
Yeah, I say I
that
knew what you
that
meant.
taught
Continue
me
on.
um the dead god.
I
Hmm.
I honestly talk. Wait, talk is not a. Huh. I may have to go talk to talk about this. I've never heard of the dead god before.
Hmm.
I'm glad.
Talk could it kind of just lifts up her head. It kind of just rubbed her eyes. You could tell she was crying.
Yeah.
Talk uh hmm, complained about them a lot, but it wasn't. But they were nice enough.
As long as they are able to help you, that's really all I care about. I just.
Yeah, and they they nod. Just they promise to they promise to keep me safe till Grove can take care of me again.
Do you know what happened to Grow to make her unable to do this?
I forgot to decide how much. Um, hmm. Grove, Grove, Grove said, wrote, um, told me, and she, well, no, when they,
It's okay.
when they found out about the park, they got really mad, and um, and uh, just yeah, they destroyed it. And uh, person who built it didn't like didn't didn't like that. So um, I don't I don't know I don't know what she did to them. Um, um but she's blah. But they're just not a god anymore. Mortal.
Well, whatever they did, for someone to have enough power to do something even remotely similar to that is frightening.
Hmm.
I. And for sure, someone not to be trifled with lightly. And if they're
Hmm.
still around, we just. That does very much concern me.
She yeah she kind of just looks like that. Just hmm.
But hey, as he like uses his hand to lift her little chin up and make her look at him, we'll figure out a way to restore the Grove Mother. Say we will protect you to make sure whoever whoever built you doesn't gets their hands on you. We will protect you and we'll find a way out of this. There's it may take a while, but hey, I say we're not leaving you.
Oh, hello, goodbye. Um, sorry about that.
No, you're
Um,
fine.
she's man, because she kind of believed she had to do this on her own
Yeah.
to figure this out on her own.
Mhm. That ain't happening. Not in a long shot.
Yeah. So yeah. Um, those are my only just relief, I would say.
Uh-huh.
Just she just she just has more globs of tears and just starts nodding.
He smiles and wipes away her tears. Atta girl. We'll say me and our no, our family. We're gonna take care of you and we're gonna figure this out.
Hmm.
But hey, let's uh he looks around at the void. Hmm. I've been like this only a few times with Scratch. I trying to
Oh,
figure out how to get at it. Say how to break this. As he's just like, okay, soft moment over for a second. Let's figure out. We're still technically soul tethered right now.
ah.
Hmm.
There's hmm. Hmm. I'm trying to just want to squeeze one more thing in there.
Okay.
This will
Okay. Squeeze, squeeze.
she just kind of um just kind of fidget a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Um mm, one more thing.
Yes, darling.
Um I don't hmm. Turn, it doesn't feel good being real kind.
He nods.
Uh
You want to find a way to make you Toonkind again?
and she nods.
Of course. We'll find a way
You
to make.
probably
Sorry, you go.
oh. And like you kind of think back to the sketchy thingy. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that didn't look that great, you know?
Yeah.
That's like Toon Bones.
Yeah, it's Toon Bones. It's the equivalent of Toon Bones.
Mm-hmm.
He nods. Of course. We we will find a way to get you out of this body and get your Toonkind body again.
Hmm. She kind of smiles softly and gives one more hug around the neck.
And he hugs back too. Don't worry. We'll say we'll figure out a way.
Hmm.
I love you, Marigold.
I love you too.
He smiles. Also, Scratch comes up to hug Marigold too. Say it's like it's just like it's a big group hug.
Yeah.
Story's like, yeah, sis, don't worry. We'll find a way.
Hmm. She's so tiny. I mean,
I mean, Scratch is ball form
oh
right
yeah,
now.
yeah, that's right, bull form.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I think she just cups her hand around Scratch and then presses her forehead against his.
And he presses his forehead back to Marigold, and there is a very much a surge of magic that flows through her, and maybe that's what wakes everyone up.
Sure.
As there's a blinding bright light, and they're back to where the balcony is, and Scratch is
Mm-hmm.
inside her, and he lets go of her. And hey, Marigold, you feel.
Yeah, she's just. Uh,
Uh,
uh, okay. Mm, she kind of just stands up. Oh gosh, she feels so weird. How's that? I don't know if she can like process that after the whole gestures and everything.
mm-hmm.
Um, uh, kind of blinks because they were kind of like an avoid, and now it's sunny outside.
Yep, it's sunny. You feel the warmth, but you also feel the chill.
Kind of just. I think she'd just be kind of frozen there for a bit.
So honestly, Scribbles too, as he like slowly wakes up from this haze.
She's just kind of like, like half like on her way to like stand up, but just kind of just frozen.
uh, um, Marigold, uh, you feel. Wait a minute, where's Scratch? And he then's quiet.
Oh, oh, um. Sorry, I forgot my voice for a second. Um, and she kind of just like yoinks off her jacket, and she's just goes to the cloth at her side,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, opens her chest,
Yeah. Yeah.
and yeah, Scratch is just a flood of light suddenly.
Yeah, Scratch like sees the light and he's like, "Ah, freedom!" as he comes out of her chest.
Do you want to make one more perception check?
Yes, yes, I do. Nice.
Nice. Before you leave, maybe it's the sun. It's just finally the sun, the light and the like reflecting, and you can see.
Mm-hmm.
Before you leave, you kind of see
Ooh,
like
interesting.
a a logo that's like
Mm-hmm.
on on the inside of like
Mm-hmm.
carved into the inside of her chest.
Yeah, yeah. Ooh.
Anyway, you see that, and then you're
Oh, you cut out a little bit.
oh, I said well, yeah, you see that, and now it's freedom.
It's freedom. He like studies the logo for a second, but then leaves her chest. He's like, he goes over to hug Scribbles. It's like, oh, thank God you're all right. Marigold, are you? Say, are you? Say, I'm again. Scratch, you shouldn't have done that. First of all, I mean, everything turned out well, but there's still that's no, no, and no. But are you okay? As he then goes over like
Uh,
hold her hand.
she's still just uh like something feels weird, and she can't put her finger on it, and she kind of just closes her chest, and you say, hmm.
Yeah.
Still kind of just has like trying to figure out like the face of like trying to figure out something.
Uh,
What the heck? What the heck? What the heck?
wisdom.
But as soon as Scribbles like takes your hand,
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
Yeah. You feel Scribble's hand, very much so.
She probably. Hmm. She spins her head at you and kind of just like flinches her hand away.
Uh, Marigold.
What was that? What what did what?
I I just touched you. I. He looks at Scratch and looks at Marigold. Uh. He goes to touch her.
Uh
Goes to touch her hand again. Marigold. Does he let? Does she let him touch her hand?
yeah, she doesn't move away.
He like cups her hand within his and like pets her hand with his thumbs. Like, can you feel this?
She's her eyes go big and she looks at you and the hand and the hand. Scribbles, you notice that like her eyes are like a bit yellowish.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it kind of flickers a bit, and it's like not glowing in the cool magical sense. It's
Mm-hmm.
like light bulbs. Scratch would know the light. There's light bulbs there.
Uh huh.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, her eyes look brighter, and it's
Uh,
woo, what?
you could.
Is it
Marigold. Uh, he just like starts like he looks at her.
immediately goes immediately just puts puts her hands on your cheeks.
Yeah, you feel warm cheeks, and you feel soft. Well, it's not skin, but it's soft. I mean, soft outline and face and everything.
She's just squish.
Yeah, Marigold. You say you can feel this. Yeah, this is warm.
Y-
This is my outline. I and Scratch.
You're warm.
Yes, this is warmth as he like puts his hands over hers. Yeah, might say this
You're
is.
warm.
I'm warm. Yes. Here, come inside. Come inside. As he opens the door to let her inside the apartment where it's extremely warm.
She just stands there. It's I mean, just arms out, just like doesn't know what to do. Oh, uh,
And Scratch immediately,
uh,
yeah,
it's
Scratch
just
knows what to do though. He goes immediately over to her and hugs her cheek. He's like, "And this is soft, and this is soft." And she can hear. Say, "See, I'm soft." And say, "This is what soft feels like." And say, "And what around you feels what warm feels like." Oh my gosh, you can feel stuff.
um, Oh boy, that's just kind of She just hold slowly, just hold Scratch.
Yeah,
It's
he's like the brightest yellow right now. He looks so happy.
you're soft.
I'm soft. I am soft. And you're smooth. They say like touch yourself. That's what smooth feels like. And it'll take a while to get used to. Trust me, sis. I was overwhelmed a lot when I first started learning how to touch stuff, but it's okay. You're gonna be okay. This is what having senses feels like.
Huh? It's it. She just has the look of disbelief. Still trying to process. Um, because good good God, this isn't some. I mean, there was a moment where she was able to as Rosebud,
Mm-hmm.
but that was kind of not on her own, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, heck, hold on.
All right.
Sorry, my mom just
It's
asked
okay.
about lunch.
Oh, you're fine.
Um oh boy, this is not something she could do for 10 whole years.
Yes.
This is how I present stuff apparently.
Mm-hmm.
Um that's long enough to forget. That's long enough to
Mm-hmm.
God.
Yeah, she could probably feel
She
like,
didn't realize how much she missed this.
yeah, and probably feels a bit of the carpet on her feet.
Yep. And she just she just uh God, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
She just it, it's it's warm. It's you're soft as a carpet. And, and she kind of just just holds her hands in her face. Wait, holds her face in her hands. Shit.
It's okay. Yeah. And
Um.
Scribbles goes over to her and like places a hand on her on her haunches. It's like, yeah, it's a lot to take in. And say, like Scratch said, it may take you a little bit. And I mean, technically you're being powered by magic. So I'm guessing that a theory. And he like holds his fingers up like that sort of like I have an idea of maybe.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I have a theory that Scratch is made out of magic, and him himself, well, him touching your soul could possibly have transferred some of his magic over to you, powering you up in some way. It looks like. At least that's my theory. Don't know if this is going to be a permanent thing, but heck, Scratch looks like he can power magical machines. That's something new.
probably looks at Scratch.
He's
And,
just,
oh, heck.
it's alright. Hi, Gallery. How you feeling?
My mom brought me pasta.
Ooh, nice pasta.
He. Um,
Yeah, Scratch looks very proud of himself and very yellow.
I, I, are you okay?
I'm okay. Don't worry, sis. I'm fine. I'm a little bit
In
tired, but that's
sight.
it.
God damn it.
He looks fine. And he reassures you. He's like,
Yeah, go on. Can I argue advantage because this is their little brother?
yeah, I will accept advantage, yes, because little brother.
Oh, 18.
Yeah, like he says, he's fine. He does look a little bit tired. Maybe expended a little bit too much magic, but not enough to make him like fully exhausted.
She's. I don't know if that'd make her any less worried. Honestly, just she
Mm-hmm.
just hold hold scratched for him to just sit on a bit. Um.
Oh, sits on her shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really fine, sis. I'm fine. I say I'm glad I could make you happy, though. I'm glad I glad we figured out we could do this.
uh, yeah, it, it's wonderful. Thank you. Mm, head bonk.
Yeah, it's a scratch. Head bonks her back. And Scribbles like
The
yeah, Scribbles like very tender at this. Like there's like even like some hearts forming in his hair. It's just like he is so touched by this. He's just like he just loves this tender moment between siblings.
and then she got a little bit of a serious look. Though, if it makes you tired, I'd prefer you don't do that anytime soon.
And that sort of snaps Scribble back into it. She's like, she does have a point, Scratch. I say, I know you want to make your sister happy, but you need to know your limits. Let's let you rest for a little bit before we try baby stuffing it again.
She just, I, your your health comes first, okay?
Scratch nods. Okay, sis. I'll be okay though, but okay, I understand. I say, I'll be safe.
Hmm, okay. Promise.
Promise. And
Okay.
he like rubs up against her.
Hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
I say, Scribbles looks around. I suggest that we stick to the apartment. Let's get you used to touching things like in a normal basis before, say, running into a park. As he like gives Scratch a look and an eyebrow raise. He's like, that wasn't my fault. Network was the one who brought me to the park. We had a lot of fun though. I know you had a lot of fun, but take things one step at a time. Say you were you should have seen him. Marigold, like he was so happy, but gosh, he was tired afterwards, and he was a little bit overstimulated. Like he wouldn't admit it himself, but he was. I was not. Yes, you were, Scratch. Say so. Let's stick to the apartment and and just enjoy your sense of feeling here before we go out to the greater world.
Yeah. And Selli
And yeah,
kind of just looks out the. She just looks at the door because she has kind of been thinking of going out for a little. But yeah, she that's smart and it's reasonable. So she kind of just nods.
yeah, and I think that's probably a good place to end it there.
Mhm.
Of them like going around the apartment, just staying in the apartment, just having a nice day, and just
Pat
enjoying
pat
the
pat
new
pat pat
scents.
pat 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 pat.
Yeah, pats everything.
Probably ends at like just scooping them both into a hug.
Yes, indeed. Scoop group hug. Very much group hug. Perfect ending.
Mm.
Uh,
Okie doke.
yes. Oh, woo! That was
Woo.
that was a good FPS. That was long, but that was very good.
That was a long one. Wow. That sure. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Thank you so much
Yeah, thank you so much for
for
listening. Yeah.
for this.
Yeah, thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
for listening. Thank you, Winona.
Thank you, Comet. I love you so
Thank
much.
you for absolutely shattering my feelings.
And thank you for shattering mine also.
Woo!
Woo! But yes, thank
Yeah.
you everyone for listening in. I hope you have a great time
Mhm.
zone. All right, bye.
Yep. Bye.